What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I know. You're like, Erica, it's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. How dare you go live during Super Bowl Sunday? Listen, I want you to get back to your Super Bowl as quickly as possible. So I'll knock this out in about 45 minutes and we can all go veg out for the rest of the day because it's Sunday and you're already checked out. So if you can, drop your city and state in the comments and let me knock this one out because it's been on my mind. It's something I've been wanting to talk about. In March, I'll have a big combo on this channel about income points and all that other stuff. But today, let's go ahead and hit it. Now, many of you see the title, you're saying fire movement. I've been hearing about the fire movement for years. What is the fire movement? And it is financial. Long story short, it's retiring early. But what they don't tell you about the fire movement, and you go watch hundreds and thousands of videos on the fire movement today, your choice, is you need higher income. Now, there's going to be people like Mr. Money Mustache who basically have one kid. He's like, I only had one kid because it's cheap to have one kid and I only have this one house and I paid it off and we paid off everything and we live on $30K a year. That's fine. We see people every day and night out here making 30, 40K a year and struggling for the entirety of their life, their whole life, because the fire movement is predicated on higher income. No matter how you slice it, it's Dave Ramsey on steroids, right? Because Dave Ramsey's going to tell you to budget, live like no one else so you can live like no one else. And the average person knocks out Dave Ramsey's program in 18 months because they just can't take it anymore. They've just reduced themselves down to nothing, right? And they hear pay off everything. And they're like, oh, thank God it's over. And then they go out and they go eat food and they go on vacations because really they don't have any debt. The fire movement works because the people that are promoting the fire movement are engineers. They're STEM jobs. They're nurses making $92,000 a year. They're people with higher incomes. So their $30,000 student loan debt gone. Their this is gone. They're even making communities now called the Fat Fire and Skinny Fire movement. Skinny Fire is the guys and girls who make under $75,000 a year trying to rack their brain, trying to Dave Ramsey themselves on steroids to pay off everything but their house. Okay? And the answer is going to be the same no matter how you slice it. Job, budget, pay off debt, and what's left over you invest. But let's keep it a buck. If you're a school teacher making $40K a year and your rent and your student loans and your car, by the time it's left over, you got $500 left over. Right? So if I go ahead and tell you, hey, honey, put your $500 a month that you have left over into Fundrise and get you 10% returns. Now, first things first, I already know what's going to happen. She's going to say, Erica, that's not enough. If I could tell you how many times I got on the phone with people who've been making $3,000 their whole life and they're like, yeah, I want to retire and have $10,000 a month coming in. Well, baby, if you've been making $3,000 your whole life, but you want $10,000 a month coming in when you're retired, there's got to be massive change. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like a lot of channels like, yeah, you don't have to do it. No, you need to change. Your mindset has to change. Who you talk to changes. Today, I got in a big fight with two family members. I was on the phone and they're like, oh, you're being real cocky. I'm like, you have to praise yourself. No, you never praise yourself. First of all, I'm not going to go out in these streets like, please praise me. This is why you have people making jokes about the Pikishas and people simping and all this stuff because they're seeking validation from other people. They're seeking to be the hero in other people's eyes. You better wake up and be your own hero, baby. You know what I'm saying? You better wake up and be your own hero and live by your own authority. Because if you out here trying to people please your grandma, your daddy, I know grown people right now in jobs and careers that their mama and daddy wanted them to have. And their mama and daddy is dead and gone. I'm being real for real right now. I know a person right now, he is a police officer, hates it every day. But his daddy was a police officer and his granddaughter was a police officer. He's a black police officer in Texas and he's going to be a police officer forever. And I'm like, sir, you hate this job. Go be a football coach like you used to. You love being a football coach. You didn't care you didn't make any money being a football coach because you was coaching them kids in Houston. Well, he's in the suburbs of Houston. He's not in Houston. But go back and do that. But see, we live in a society where people are like, oh man, he's a cop. His daddy was a cop, all this stuff. Baby, you cannot retire early on that. Okay, you have to first identify what's your freedom number, right? What's the true number you want to go home with every month? What do you need to thrive on? And for a lot of y'all saying 10K, but you've only made 3K your whole life, how you know you need 10K? Right? Okay. So look, had to do that little intro because I really want you to understand that no matter how you slice it, if you're a person who's like, Erica, starting a business is not for me, I'm okay with that. But I want you to understand, if a job is for you and you like your job and work is a part of your life, because the last couple videos, every time I say something about a 4-year career, y'all go crazy in the comments, knowing not near one of you stayed at a job longer than 4 years. Every 2 to 3 years, you hop in jobs. That's the national average. So miss me with this conversation like, oh, 4 years, that's not a career. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. It takes four years for most people to max out at what they want to make income wise and also pay off a lot of debt. But see, people trying to sit here and play you and get you on a 30-year career. Now let me clarify too. When we talk about the FIRE movement, and I talk about people doing these really high income jobs so they can pay off all their debt and then they can retire early. Let me be very clear. Go watch any of the FIRE movement videos. A lot of those people have returned to some type of work. Now, what is some type of work? Managing their investments. Looking for new investments for the money they do have, because guess what? Living off dividend stocks forever ain't no game plan. It just ain't. Unless you got 5 to 10 mil in there. And even so, at some point, when the stock market does take a correction and some of these companies cut dividends, what you gonna do? It's not, and don't take my word for it. Go research hours of people talking about the FIRE movement. Majority of those people have gone on to start businesses. Even Mr. Money Mustache that I keep talking about, he started a business. He bought a lot of these people who act like, well, I just started this blog for fun. I just started this, YouTube channel for fun. No, they did not. Started it for money and income. And there's nothing wrong with saying that's what you started it for. Right? People out here trying to act like I didn't do any of those. So again, I just want you to check that out. And again, I'll even share the screen for him because I trust me. If you've talked about it, I've heard it. Let me see here. Let me see if I pull it up. And these are not my regular glasses. These are blue light glasses. So I know you like them. I know you want them. You know what I mean? Here you go. Here's Mr. Money Mustache right here. And I'm going to break down business and profiting because I really want you guys to understand that people out here selling y'all anything. And that just doesn't sit well with my soul. Okay. So here you can look on Mr. Mustache. This is his most popular post. I want you to go check out, if nothing else, check out this. 50 jobs making over 50,000 a year. Now you may say, Erica, 50,000, that ain't no money. That ain't no money. And I want you to understand that the average person in America is making 30K a year. 75% of Americans. And so when you hear, Kevin Samuels or any of these people talk about people wanting a high value man, what they're saying is, I want someone who's not thinking average and low vibration. That's all. I just want somebody who's not thinking low vibration. I'm going to just show up to a job every day. On the weekends, I'm going to do a cookout and then I'm going to complain about my job. Honey, I was dating a man one time. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it again. I talked about this 4 or 5 times. And that's why we had to break up because one, I didn't want to hear it all the time. Anyway, check out this article, Getting Rich. And this is from 2013. This is how old some of this stuff is. Getting Rich from zero to a hero in one blog post. Definitely check this out. I'm not gonna a lot of this is talking about focusing on happiness and focusing on your family. And I'm gonna just say that, you know what I'm saying? Focus on a family, focus on your family. No matter how much you look at this people's stuff, being able to have a good health with your body and focus on your family. I'm just something I'm gonna say there. Now, again, go check out this article, 50 jobs over that you can make 50,000 on without a degree. People got really crazy into degree, but if you look, everywhere you go in the FIRE movement, they're talking about running your own business. Welder, carpenter, electrician, painter. All those things are laborers, yes, but eventually most of those people do what? Run their own business. House builder, blogger, passive income guru, writer, all this stuff. YouTube channel owner. Another thing, 4%. How much do I need to retire? Now, the fire movement had you thinking, okay, well, here's my income. So I spend a year, let's say I spend 30K a year, times 20. If you use this number times 25, you'll in the 4% rule. Now I'll just share this screen over here to make sure we all understand. If you're over here, we put it over here. If you're over here spending 30,000 a year, 30,000 a year times 25 is what? Oops. Put it in the comments. 30,000 a year. That's what you're spending. Now that's really what you're spending because that's all you have for a job. When you start making 100 grand a year, you're going to spend more, but I'm going to leave that alone. You got $30,000. That's what you spend a year, right? Times 25. Y'all should be in the comments saying $750,000. That's what you should be saying. You're thinking, oh my God, I need this amount, Erica. I need to put away for this amount. If I can get $750,000, girl, I'll be doing it. Let me see if the channel's showing it. Let me make sure. Hold on. Stop share screen. I don't think it's showing y'all what I'm looking at. Hold on. Okay, can y'all see this now? You should be seeing this. Okay. So anyway, and it's so small. Let me see if I can make it bigger. A little bit bigger. Can y'all see that now? Anyway, so that should be what you're all seeing is 30,000 times 750, right? So I'm gonna put it back the regular size it was. Now, first thing you're thinking is, okay, 750,000, Erica, what does that do for me? Okay. Now we're gonna go 750,000 times 4%. That's gonna give you 30,000 every year for how many years? 25 years. So people want you to work your butt off and put all this money into some investments that'll give you 4% returns. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not attractive to me or most people. It's just not. Okay. Now why is that promoted? Same way Dave Ramsey's promoted. So people can get discipline over their money, control over how they spend their life, feel some semblance of control. But I'm gonna tell you right now, fire movement's not gonna work for a lot of y'all because y'all don't got the money. Okay, you're not making 150K a year. You're not making 180,000 a year. You're not making 200,000 a year. All right. So it's not gonna work. You're not in tech. You're not in STEM. It's not gonna work. All right. Now let's go ahead and hop and give you that alternative answer. That I wanted to give you, and it was about investing in percents, really, and then I'll talk about business. So first things first, someone's gonna say, hey, Erica, well, I'm gonna invest my money. I'm gonna invest in stocks. I'm gonna invest in all this other stuff. And I salute you. I'm not knocking you. I salute you. But let's keep it a buck. The average you're gonna get is 10% returns for small money. When you start talking about 20, 30, 40% returns, you have to have more money. Okay. Let me share my screen again. All right, so we should be able to see it here. Okay, so when you start talking about, and I feel like this could be bigger. This is getting on my nerves. Hold on. See if I can make this bigger for y'all. Then I'm gonna put it all over there. How do I get over? Full screen? Y'all let me know. Is that better? Can y'all see that better or no? Yes or no? Can y'all see that better? Put a 1 in the comments if you can see it better. If not, we'll work on this. But the reason I'm putting this up here is a lot of the price points a lot of people are going to talk to you about is $5,000, $10,000. If not, we'll work on this. But my bad. And that's the price points they're going to talk to you about because that's common for folks. All right. That's what most people have. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Anyway, that's what most people have. They have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Now, when you start talking about 50,000, 100,000, you're talking about whole new levels. Whole new levels. Now, what ends up happening is when I start trying to talk to people about that, well, that's not where they are. That's why you'll see so many videos talking about how to invest $1,000, how to invest $500, how to invest $2,000. And I'm going to tell you, how do you invest? Right? How do you invest $1,000? You're going to just sit in fundraising. You're going to go make more money. That's the truth. Funrise, Funrise ain't paying me. I'm just giving it as an example. Somewhere you're going to get 10% returns on your money. Because I talked about Lending Club for 10 years, right? Now Lending Club is closed and sold out to a bank because they made so much money. But Prosper's still out there. There's hundreds of other websites still out there, right? You know, you're talking to a person who had over 400 notes in Lending Club. You know, the checks were nice. It was the equivalent in my mind to me paying $30,000 and getting a house. The house is going to pay me $500 to $800 a month. That was it. Now, I hope y'all can see this. People are sitting out here telling you, you know, oh, you can't get these crazy returns. And I'm going to just tell you because it's the price point of the money. And I already see somebody talking about crypto and all that shit. I'm talking about money you're going to cash out and put in your pocket and put in your hand. Okay? Now, first things first. If you don't know something, just say you don't know something. And that makes it better for everybody. Right? A lot of people sitting here trying to tell you that they know something. They know. You don't know it. You don't know it. Okay? Profit first is, in a short answer, is focusing on what gets you sales. I shared Diamond Dave's video today in the chat, in the community tab, because it's important for y'all to understand that focus on what gets you customers and clients. A lot of y'all out here on Twitter and Instagram and doing all these things that don't make sales. I get questions all the time like, Erica, why aren't you doing this on Instagram? Why aren't you doing that? Because I make my most sales off YouTube. I focus on the area that pays me. Okay. So the YouTube is fully functional website, right? People can buy courses. People can do consulting. People can get books. All those things wrap up in the bubble that is YouTube, right? It's the biggest, easiest sale ever because it's called a video sales letter. That's what it is. It's a video sales letter. That's why when you see these YouTube channels with 300,000 views and 1 million subscribers, those guys look like business geniuses because they have eyes on their business. They can go start a candy store. They can go start a fitness outfit, you know, clothing brand line. Why? Because if you've got 100,000 people watching a video and just 1% of those people buy, what are those numbers, right? What are those numbers? If 100,000 people are watching a video and just 1% buy something, that's 1,000 people that buy that person's clothing or candy or whatever. Let's say 1,000 people buy their $50 clothing. That's 50 grand. Let's say 1,000 people buy their $25 candy, right? And they buy it every month, right? Just the candy alone. That's $25,000. $25,000 times 12 months. That's 300,000. What people are trying to convince you of is that you're going to be able to sell forever. No, all businesses have ebbs and flows until you hit a bigger market. That's why you see a lot of these guys doing what? Going into stores, going into HEB, going into Target, going into all these places. Why? Because if they just get 1% of the sales, the sales out of those big stores, a small percentage of all these people going in and out of Target, going in and out of HEB, they're set for life. They're not saying, let me do YouTube forever, because that don't make no sense. A lot of those guys, you already see them drifting from their original content. They were a fitness guy, and now they're getting in their 30s and they're like, woo, body's tired. They have to keep challenging themselves to new challenges. You can go look at Bart Kahn, you can look at Nick Barry, you can look at these people. They either start challenging themselves to new challenges, doing marathons, switching over to CrossFit, switching over to different things. But the consistent thing you see them do is what? Sell those supplements, sell those shirts, and sell new products. Because that's where the money is. I'm a little sick, under the weather. I apologize. But I want you to understand that it depends on your market space. You're not going to sell the same stuff for 20, 30, 40 years. That's just not going to happen. Okay? Now, every time you go into business, you have to improve. Now, you're going to say, Erica, I go by Joe's Fish Shack, Crab Shack, and they've been open for 30 years with the same raggedy Fish Creek tables and same stuff. And yeah, you can get away with some of that in some industries. You can get away with having the same old fish shack place that ain't never grown or changed for 30 years. But in regular business and talking to people, you have to change. You have to grow and you have to change. You have to develop and change as a person. Okay. So a lot of people are going to sit here and try to sell you on. So again, Latasha Stansfield, this is where people are getting in their feelings. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you right now. If you're in the comments getting in your feelings, I'm going to block you because I don't have time. If you want a grandstand, go make your own channel and promote that over there. You don't have to agree with me. You dig what I'm saying? But if you're not like somebody like a Diamond Dave or other people who are drawing money from those accounts and living off that money and you can document it and show it, I don't want to hear it. I thank you for being on the channel. I thank you for commenting, but I'm done with it. You know, everybody wants to tell you what you're saying is wrong, but we're not watching you. We're watching me, right? Let's just keep it a buck. Thank you for the comment. Have a great day, right? Okay, so again, focus here, people. So that's just YouTube business, okay? Online business. Someone's gonna say, well, Erica, I created this blog. I'm over here on Pinterest. I'm over here doing all these things. Where do customers buy your products and services? Focus on that one online space and beat it up. That's all. Focus on that one online space and beat it up. When people sit here and go, well, I'm gonna be like Grant Cardone and all these people and be everywhere. Let me tell you, I don't get the best returns from Facebook. I don't get the best returns from Instagram. I get the best returns from YouTube. I'm talking directly to you. Do you want this product? You can buy it. Boom. Could it be shinier? Could it be nicer? For sure. You're always going to be working on perfecting your sales approach and your sales offer. Okay. Does that make sense? So some things people ask me about, of course, because I'm in them, is trucking and oh, you really ain't making no money in this because this. Every day you'll get truckers in the comments telling you how much they're making. People that have been in the industry for years telling you how much they're making. You have mother trucker documenting what they're making. And a lot of them, as soon as they make some good money, they do what? They get out of the truck and go take their money and invest it somewhere else. People can hammer down on being a one-trick pony, but at the end of the day, what are they going to do with that money? Saving doesn't make you rich. Let's go ahead and be very clear on that, okay? All right. And I know football's up in here, so I'm not going to be on here too long, but prime example, people talk about, well, Erica, be in a business. I say, all you got to do is focus on $1,000 a month. Oh man, Erica, what? 1,000 a month? I said 1,000 a month is 12 grand a year. That's an extra 12 grand you didn't have to do anything for, but start your business on the side. Then you go from 1,000 a month to 1,000 a week. Now you're talking about a $50,000 business, right? Then you focus on 1,000 a day. Now, in between you making 1,000 a week and 1,000 a month to 1,000 a week, you as a business person who have grown or you have advanced in using your advertising, using ads, all that good stuff. Your approaches should polish up in that space, right? Right? And so here's the thing: when you hear people arguing with you who are not progressing or not growing, you just laugh because you're like, baby, I'm being nice here. Just even being here, I'm being nice, right? So again, going from 1,000 a month, which is 12 grand a year, extra 12 grand a year in your pocket, changes your life. It just does. Then you go to 1,000 a week. That's an extra 50,000 a year in your pocket, changes your life. It should. But it shouldn't change your life to just go stunting. Look at me stunting. Look at me stunting. That's not how that doesn't make any sense. Then you go to 1,000 a day. It's a beautiful place to be, but okay, ultimately now you've refined the business, you grow in the business, you shaping it up, you're polishing it, and now it's making all this money. Now what do you do with that money? Don't get it twisted. I can go tell you the masterminds I'm in where people have taken that money, they kept their eye on the main ball that was making them the money and took that money and put it over to the right. Now, I brought someone on the channel called Lane from Hawaii, the Hulu Cash of Flash Flow group. I'm in that group. They bought 33 properties in a 3-year window. There are already been people who, and I'm being careful here, dropped 50,000 They cleaned up the property, cleaned it up, refinanced the apartment complex, or just completely sold it. And those people got, not only they get their 50,000 back, now they got 120,000. Right? Because the returns can be 120%. The returns can be 100% on your money when you're talking about 50,000 and $100,000 put in. Because not many people have that level of money. And not everybody's an apartment complex buyer. Correct? Correct. So you hear people going, well, Erica, I need big returns on my money. I need 100%. I need 1,000%. I need to take this $2 and flip it to $20,000. Do you have something for me, sister? You dig? And I'm sitting here trying to express to you that that's not how that works. Right? When I was talking about GameStop and AMC last week, I didn't really tell you what number I bought in it, and I didn't tell you what number I got out at, proportion of it out at, because I didn't want you following me and doing something that you didn't know how to do. But you see, I'm surrounded by stock investors. I'm surrounded by people who are investing in apartments. I'm surrounded by people who have businesses here in Austin, Texas, an expensive city, and take their money and invest it other places. So I surround myself with people who are doers, not just talkers, but doers. I don't just talk it, I do it, right? I may not always have the cash flow flowing out the window, but I'm doing it, right? I'm showing you that again, the level of percent growth, me as a person over the past 4 years has been over 1,500%. And that's just economics wise, right? So I don't really take too kindly to people tell my stuff they don't know. So anyway, okay. Prime example. I just talked about YouTube. I just talked about sales. I talked a little bit about real estate. Now there's a YouTuber on here, and I'll share his video in the community section after this. He has a channel where people are like, oh my God, he's driving a Lambo. Oh, he's driving a Lambo. And he'll tell you, I only pay myself $40K a year. And people are like, what? He only pays himself that, but his companies make a lot more. He had a software product he done sold for years. Sold it for years. Then, because he's in tech, then he realized the money game. Okay, I got all this money from tech. Now what do I do with it? I don't just go buy Lambos. I don't just go out there and go stunting, right? He takes that money and he'll buy a piece of land. I don't know if y'all can see it on here. I'm trying to make the screen move down, but it might not be the easiest. Let's see if I move this whole thing. Ooh, can I move it? Can I move the whole thing? Damn. It just hates me today. When I want to do something cool, it's like, nope. Okay, so anyway, see if I make the size bigger. Ooh, yeah, I can. Cool. Okay. So when you're sitting here talking to people, you're trying to explain to them that this black man who is showing you, hey, I have a business and I got this Lambo via my business, right? And then he showed you, hey, I buy a piece of land or a lot inside of a neighborhood. I work with a builder to build the home, correct? And then 6 months from now, because they don't take builders forever, they trying to play you out here. 6 months from now, I'm going to sell that property. The builder gets paid, I get paid. And I walk off with what, 100 grand, 150 grand, depending on the project. And he does those once or twice a year. He does it every year. Okay. And that's the stuff people sleep on. They're going to tell you, oh, real estate ain't giving you no returns. You're at the wrong price points and you're in the wrong lane. Right now, even as I'm looking around Austin, there's a piece of land beside one of my friends' property. He knows he can get the land in a great ideal world. You get it for 20, build a duplex on it. Okay. The duplex right now on Airbnb, going to make you $6 grand a month each side, just because the city and where it's at. So now you're talking about 12 grand a month. 12 grand a month times 12 months is what? It's $144,000 off one property. That's gross, not net. Don't get stank with me. And so when people don't talk about that part, what they don't talk about is you have to buy that land at the right amount, and you have to be able to cash out refi. See, people aren't talking about that part. Do you understand? But that land, the reason he can't go and build that duplex and get all that cash flow is they want to sell the land for 100 grand. In order for that plan to work, it has to be at 20 grand. So that's why when people talk to me about real estate and they don't know, it's okay if you just say you don't know. I don't know everything. I go and work and study under people who know what they're talking about, And I can tell you, I'm in a mastermind right now where the first guy, all he did is get 150,000 in credit cards, buy the land, go work with two builders, get both built, because the first builder wasn't gonna do two, he was only gonna do one house, right? Because they're putting a lien on it. Okay, built those two, and then cash out, refi both those two. So again, there's levels to all this game out here. There's multiple levels. Don't let someone tell you that, oh, this is this or that. There's multiple levels out here. There's people turning around making 100 and 150,000 every time those builders finish and they get their cash out refi done. And they're hitting different price points than you because they have different access to money than you. That's all. 50K to drop into an apartment deal, great. And in 3 years, I know it's gonna cash out. But here's the problem: a lot of you, if you got 50K and you put in an apartment deal, you sweating bullets. Like, oh, is they gonna pay us an interest check or something? Is they gonna give us some money? I can't wait 3 years. And that's the thing. People can't wait. They cannot wait 3 years for that person to cash out, refi that apartment complex and give them $120,000 back. That's why a lot of the apartment complex deals, they usually pay people an interest check about 18 months in of $1,000 or so, just so some money's kicking back to them. You dig what I'm saying? Are you following? Are you guys following me? If I lost you, let me know if I lost you. But there's different levels. So when someone sits here and goes, well, I'm not going to put my money over there because that's unsure. I'm like, what's unsure about it? It's been going on for 150 years. Every other group of people know what they're doing, but the ones that I'm talking to, okay? All right. So then another one is trucking. I'll go back and I'll even go back down to cheap houses. Give me a second. Trucking. You're paying $30,000 cash for this truck that's gonna make $6 to $7 grand a week. We just, for the sake of the argument of the conversation, we're gonna say $6 grand a week. Let's say you make 47% returns off your week. Let's just cut it in half and make it 50, just for the sake of the argument. $3,000 a week times 50 weeks a year is $150,000. That's all after all bills and everything. And that's in an ideal magical world where nothing goes wrong. Driver don't quit. It stays on the road. It's making the same amount of money every week. Again, that's an ideal world. And the reason I'm even doing this is because there have been truckers in the comments like, oh, my truck don't do nothing if it don't make 250,000. Again, I said this is after net. Because if you want to do the math and be smart asses and go 6 grand times 50, you can do that. Okay? 6 grand a week times 50 weeks a year, because it ain't gonna go every single day. It just is not. So that's 300,000 for the year. Now we're not talking about tolls, we're not talking about gas, we're not talking about any of those things. That's gross, 300,000 a year. So a lot of the truckers has been in the comments like, well, my truck makes 300 grand a year. If you ain't making that, you know what you're talking about. Baby, that's gross, not net. Tell the audience what your net is. Okay, miss me trying to look cool and show who got the biggest balls over here. I don't need that. Tell people your net. Show them the real stuff. Okay. So let's just take half of that. That's 150,000. That's why you see a lot of these old heads and older men that used to drive trucks out here with 3 trucks, and that's it. That's it. They sit with they 3 because guess what? 3 trucks, after all bills are paid, again, ideal scenario is $450,000. And why do they stop there? That's why the majority of you see trucking companies only have 6 trucks. 90% of all trucking companies have 6 trucks or less. 97.2% have 20 trucks or less. Why? Because the average American makes 30,000 a year. So if you have 3 trucks and they made a perfect stellar year, you have already made 10, if not 100 times more than the average American. Okay? So we're not even in the same room. But the problem comes in people's spending habits and investment habits. If you expect that truck to make that every year for the next 20 years, you're crazy. That's why when you meet these bigger truckers or these small, medium truck companies, they start buying land. They start buying real estate. They start buying gas stations. You dig? Which topic can we go in on? Do you know what I'm saying? I get real tired of coming on the internet and people are like, well, we're on Clubhouse talking about, you're on Clubhouse capping. Okay? That's all. On Clubhouse capping. And that's okay. I'm just being very clear about it. Xanatos clutch, correct. Okay. So anyway, but and so I just want to clarify, like, I've spent this time learning and getting in rooms with people and learning and always increasing my skills. And like, even now I'm getting ready to pay 30,000 for this one particular mastermind, and people like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. You aren't where I am, and you're not where I'm trying to go. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, people in that room will get you access to people who are going to have $1 million in funding. I'm not going to sit on Clubhouse all day. Oh, Erica, I'm learning all these things from Clubhouse. Baby, if you're not taking action, if you haven't started a business, if you haven't done anything this week, it does not matter. We can talk on the phone, butter talk all night long about business. We can butter talk each other, make each other feel well. And so, oh my God, I feel so warm and fuzzy all night long. But when I start asking y'all for receipts, when I start asking y'all to show me some stuff, when I start asking you, can you pick up and fly tomorrow? There's a no, because you can't. And again, you see me here in this office, but I'm not tied to this office, because once you have systems in place, you can go wherever. There are girls right now who have lifestyle blogs that make 15 grand a month. And when you see them, you don't think much of it. They making 15 grand a month just chilling. But because it doesn't look like you think it should, that doesn't look shiny or whatever. They're not stunting in a Rolls Royce or whatever, or in Atlanta stunting, or wherever in Florida stunting. You assume they're not making the money. Okay. So again, this is, and all the stuff we're seeing right now on YouTube that's super popular. Someone told me the other day to stay in my lane, and I'm okay with staying in my lane, but I'm gonna tell you, the end result of what you're talking about is economic. So it comes back to my lane. The reason you're getting disrespected, the reason you're living in neighborhoods you don't want to live in, the reason you are getting the quality of women you're getting is because of your money and your confidence. I've met men who are 5'3" who I was like, oh my God, my heart, because they were sitting there talking big confidence and big money to follow it. You dig? You sitting here blaming your height, blaming everything else when it's economics. So again, if you just want to be low vibration and you just want to have routine, Eric, I just want to go to work, I just want to lift weights and go home and eat chicken sandwiches. Baby, that's cool. Do that. Do that. Just say you want that and do that. And then get around friends and women that are in that lane. Okay? Like, the reason we have so many unhappy people out here is because we are people getting outside of their lane. They are dating outside of their bracket. They are trying to live a life that is not theirs because they did not earn it. Okay? Reason you see all those passport bros come home is because Chase Bank was cutting them credit cards and cutting limits out there. Okay? And people like, Erica, your delivery, you're being so mean. You don't have to deliver the content like this. You could be all soft and nice and rub my back and rub my toes and tell me I'm smart because my mommy never told me I was smart. I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that. And I don't have to I don't have to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't have to do any of that. Now, someone said in one of my videos, I've been going back answering some comments here and there where I can. Thank you guys for Cash App and Super App. I see you. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel. When you support something, you love it more. Thank you, bonus new Incube, for the $20 Cash App. Thank you. I appreciate you. I see also some other ones, but I'm not gonna be on here all day. I'm gonna wrap it up. You have $30,000 houses, and the person in the comments is like, Erica, why you struggling and bother with these crappy little cheap houses? Let me tell you, I've sat in conferences where men are multimillionaires because they own 100 houses in Houston, in the hood. I've sat in conferences where men own 100 houses in parts of Florida that you scared to walk in. Chicken sandwiches are delicious, Blake. Let me just be very clear. Chicken sandwiches are delicious. I'm just saying, do what you do. Okay. Also, when I've sat in those rooms, and these are white and Asian men buying up these neighborhoods who you think should be scared to walk over there, and they straight buying it. Okay. So when someone sit here talking about, well, I wouldn't spend that money in Detroit, I wouldn't do this and that in Detroit. I'm meeting people who own 100 properties in the hood, and they take that money and take themselves snowboarding and skiing, and they out there in Bali with all their white friends having a great day on YouTube. Like, Erica, you should totally do this, man. And I'm laughing because we're over here talking about something. Well, Erica, I wouldn't be bothered with the stress of it. That's because we're trying to do cheap stuff. We don't want to play the game how it's played. You dig? We don't want to play the game how it played. The game is ownership. The game is owning things. And again, a reason I talk about, white home ownership is the highest it's ever been in 9 years is because these people are getting out of California. I've already told you, Texas is the second highest location for Black population after New York in the whole United States. We have a high Hispanic population. I think 50% of the children in Texas under 18 are of some type of minority. The only white people we have is the white people fleeing California, Ohio, and New York, bringing the population of white people back up in Texas. Okay? But it's hard to talk to someone about home ownership. Okay? It's hard to get someone talking about home ownership when, one, they are wanting to chase booty every weekend. When they have no terms for long-term marriage or long-term commitment to anybody, they don't care about their children having anything. There is no desire to own homes. The desire is to stunt. You know how I know? I drive all these little neighborhoods. I go by these old little apartment complexes, and people out there with Maseratis in a C-class neighborhood built in the 1980s, and it looks raggedy inside. Their desire is to stunt. I want to cough around. But back to what I was saying about the $30,000 houses. I was talking to somebody, and they're like, well, I'm going to get a $30,000 house and get $800 of rent. That ain't no money. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. I'm in Cleveland. We get a duplex for $30K. We were supposed to put 15 in it, but instead we put 30. So it's a $60,000 project. Okay, $60,000 project. We're going to get $1,500 a month in rent. Times 12 is $18,000 a year. Times 10 years is $180,000. Why is that important? Because someone is going to turn their nose up at that lower income property. Okay? And somebody else's daddy, Mr. Joe, whoever, Mr. Atola, Mr. whoever, because if Houston, we can go there. They shared in the Fifth Ward. There's 5 families that own almost everything, 75% of the stuff there. And it's 2 Italian families and 3 Jewish families. Okay? So back to what I'm saying. If I'm going to see people, Black people, whatever people stay in Cleveland, I want to own property there. So in 10 years, you get that 180,000, right? Income you didn't have to work for. You want to make sure that the property's still rented out all these years. You can go Section 8 if you want, go all the way up, right? Now, let's say you have 10 of those properties like that. 10 properties you put $30K into purchase. So 10 times 180,000 is what? 1.8 mil. Passive income. So when people sit here and try to tell me about something not being worth it, I already know they're not investing in anything. And they don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's not enough for me. Oh, $800 a month. That's not enough for me. These people are making $3,000 a month and telling you $800 ain't enough. There's something Lisa Phillips used to say all the time that cracked me up. I love it. She was like, people out here on the internet searching for 5 years how to make an extra $1,000 a month, and they could have just got a job at Home Depot and worked part-time and got that extra money. And it cracked me up because this whole time she's talking about purchasing these smaller rental units, people ain't trying to hear that. And now it's back popular again, okay? Because it is what it is. And the people are like, well, what about the landlords that are what about the landlords that are, Erica, their tenants aren't paying? Those landlords, not all, but a bulk of those landlords do not have proper foundation in their business. This is why I talk about the FIRE movement. The people in the FIRE movement realized when they got to the end of the journey, they had to do what? Invest that money in something else that was going to make more money. So then they technically went back to work, working on themselves and their family. Okay? So when you meet somebody like the Black man that's in New York and he has one rental property and he depended on it for all his income, and half the tenants paying $400 and the other half ain't paying, and it's a mess. That was a mess to begin with. That he should have never depended on one income property to carry him. Does that make sense? Do you hear what I'm saying? So you hear these stories from people who, oh, I'm hurting. I got 10 rental properties and nobody's paying the bills. And you look at them like, wait a minute, what was you doing with the money when you got it? Just living. I hear the stories all the time. The other day, I just want you to understand that when I was in Detroit, when I was in Detroit, I kept meeting people who were essentially from New York and California buying up stuff. And I sit there and I go, man, I ain't spending $100,000 on this. This is raggedy. I'm not spending this money in Detroit. And for them, the same size property and the same size rental returns would have been 300, 400,000 in California. So they are willing to invest in those places. There's a great guy called Axe Invest or Ace Invest. I'll try to get him on the channel. But a lot of people sitting here letting you think that business owners just make money every year and they just sell the same products for 20, 30 years. Dave Ramsey does sell the same products for 20, 30 years, but guess what? Dave Ramsey invests his money. He done built a building from the ground up. He keeps doing speeches, concerts, courses. He brings on other people underneath him. Okay. He did it the right way. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's like, everybody just take my lease and run out and do whatever with my name, which has been to his detriment. Dave Ramsey don't play. You're going to come up under his umbrella and under that influence and all the views he provides on that channel, you're going to act like you got sense. Okay? But Dave Ramsey invests. Dave Ramsey owns a bunch of stuff. Don't get it twisted. He owns a bunch of stuff. So I've already told you about the cheap little $30,000 houses. I told you about dropping the $30,000 on the truck, and the truck's going to get you back, close to 150,000 in a magical world where all things go right. Because I know somebody's going to come behind this video, but she didn't talk about taxes. She didn't talk about this or that. She didn't talk about it. Okay. And we're not going to do it. Okay. So again, when people try to count your money, I just laugh because I go, look, you can have up or down years, but if you have the asset and you keep holding to the asset, the numbers balance themselves out. That's why you see Mother Trucker and some of these people got 3 trucks doing YouTube all day, not driving anywhere, just laughing it up and having their best life ever because they know to put the money in some other spaces. You dig what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. So again, I'll put it in the community tab, the black guy who buys land, lets the developer build on it, going through houseplans.com, and then turn around and refi it out at the end of the year. That means you got to have your credit put together. Okay. That means you got to have enough money to buy the land cash. Now, because if you're going to go through the process of buying the land and I got to get a loan from the bank to buy the land and all this other stuff, don't get it twisted. A great example I want to show y'all. Let me see if I can pull it up. Somebody y'all should go check out because, again, I know this from living this, from someone working their butt off, and then being able to walk away, completely different conversation. We go on Instagram and show y'all. Y'all should go check this guy out if you get the chance. Check out his story on Bigger Pockets. But I want you to see what they're doing. He still works. I think he might have just left, but I'm not certain. Let me double check. Go check this page out. Oh wait, I'm not even sharing. I thought I was sharing. Hold on. Let me get my share on. Because people are out here telling you, oh yeah, this thing will make a lot of money, and people aren't talking from the perspective where you make $3,000 a month and you need to make a lot. Looking forward, thank you. Looking forward, not backwards. Thanks a lot, Erica. You truly inspire me. From 0 to 7 rentals in 3 to 4 years, life changing for sure. Bingo. People can drive Uber, make $1,000 a month. Yes, they can. I'm telling you, to me, I'm like, that inspired me to go invest in Houston because I'm like, look at it. These 5 families are living their best damn life off 75% of the 3rd ward. Come on, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. So anyway, if you check out this guy's page, um, 60 plus rental doors, people get like, well, I'm not buying something so I can get $200, $300. That ain't no money. And, this person eventually will be a little mogul in their own town. So I laugh and I just go, all right, cool. When somebody don't know something, just say you don't know something. He had a great episode on it. And again, marriage and working together. Aisha Selden was kind of commenting like she's richer than all the married people she knows. That's because two people who are low vibrational, doing nothing people, just working jobs, can find each other, marry each other, and going down the road. It's not hard because they're not doing anything. It's not hard because they've already accepted where they are in life. Okay? So yeah, you'll meet lots of married couples that are broke because they're okay doing the same old. That's what they're okay with. Doing the same old and not going anywhere. It's harder when you're someone going somewhere, finding another person who has enough sense to go along with it. Unless you just want a house husband, which, I mean, that's okay. We've seen how those go down. So anyway, again, go check out his channel. He's a good one for you to check out. Right. I think it's important for you to, a lot of these people had jobs. You need to listen again. They had full-time jobs and spent an hour or two in the afternoons actually looking for stuff. See, people keep missing out on that part of the component that we all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's about your mindset and how you fix on it, how you work on it. Let me see if I can pull up Ace real quick. Ace, invest. Oh, there he is. Invest. This isn't me marketing. This isn't me promoting them. This is not me vouching for them. I just want you to understand that. Go check out some of these people's pages and listen to their story and the fact that they either rented out rooms at their house and then they kept buying rentals, and that's where the money came from. Okay. All right. Again, check out some of these properties where they're talking about, hey, bought this house for $12K. It's been written out for 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? And people want to fight you on something. You're like, baby, show me where. Oh, I took my 20K and did this with it. Okay. Can you do that every single month for the rest of your life? Then no, I'm not trying to hear it. Right? Someone selling this house, I don't think it's that great for $70K. Right? Going to rent out for 10 years. People stay in the same old neighborhoods forever and ever. Again, I just want you to understand. Right? That's all. I'm just trying to show y'all a different way out here to be, So this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I thank you for spending your time here with me. It is Super Bowl Sunday. I understand your time is valuable. Anybody who ever purchases consult calls or works with me, I completely understand and respect you, and thank you for working with me in this channel. Okay. But I want you to understand that like one way is not the be all end all. And sometimes people don't know because they're not in it. They're not doing the math on you or your life or your anything, but they got lots to talk about. So I'll do a very in-depth video in March, after the tax time, baby, and kind of talk about network and numbers and how things fleshed out after 3 and 4 years of me just hustling my butt off and what that looks like. Because it's important that someone gives y'all some real answers, because you're out here on Clubhouse and everybody's a millionaire, but they can't show you no tax returns. They can't show you no nothing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You were fired before it was cool? For sure. Lots of people were. Let me see. There's a few more comments I saw. Thank you, Marcus Green, for $4.99. John, these people don't know, man. I'm working with people right now who are on 150 properties. And their children's children are rich. Okay. Not only did their children go to school debt free, their children came home from school, worked with the daddy, and now they free. And what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is you can control the narrative of your family. You dig? Two low frequency bums can work out and argue over weed and cigarettes all day. Yes. Let me tell you something. Not even trying to be funny. My mom, God rest my dad's soul, but my mom quit smoking cigarettes because she was always the one buying them, or she bought them. My dad would smoke her pack and she's like, hey. So she quit smoking cigarettes that day, and then she started running marathons. And so what I tell people is people can be petty, and petty will change their life completely. And that's why growth is important. That's why who you marry is important. But really getting that mindset right. So again, the big numbers I talk about is $10,000, $5,000, $10,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. If you make more income and you can save that stack, take that stack and put it to work. What works for you works for you. So anyway, you guys, I hope this was helpful. Hope this video helped. I know I've been cutting up. Hey, don't be afraid. Be excited. It'll be a good call. I don't beat people up on the phone. I'm super nice. I just always, on this channel, I'm just like, no tolerance for bull. So thank you guys for watching the channel today. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's going to win. It's just how they predict these things. So hope you got your bets in Las Vegas. So everybody, this is your girl, Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Later.